Homicide from last night. That's another true tragedy in our community. We have a 28-year-old individual, Nadin Khoury, who is now deceased as a result of gunshot injuries. He leaves behind a pregnant wife, mother, sisters, and other family members. And I'm going to have Captain Christensen walk you through the investigative information that we can release at this time. But this particular instance is but another example of very aggressive behavior that starts with words and ends in gunfire, completely reckless conduct that is not only unnecessary and inappropriate, but not acceptable in our Fargo community. Our team here will be working all angles to identify and apprehend individual or individuals responsible and try to bring justice to the family in this matter. So I'm going to turn it over to Captain Christensen. We're happy to take any questions at the end. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Good morning, everyone. As the Chief mentioned, my name is Captain Matt Christensen. I currently oversee our Criminal Investigations Division. So kind of what I'll do is kind of give you a rundown of where we're at right now. I'm going to give you a little bit of the statement they've already sent out with some additional information. So at approximately 9:27 p.m. on Monday, October 27th, Fargo police officers responded to a report of a shooting in an apartment complex in the 2700 block of 41st Street South. Upon arrival, officers located an adult male victim who had an apparent gunshot wound in one of the building stairwells. A bystander was providing aid to the victim, and officers took over life-saving measures when they arrived on scene. Other responding officers were able to deem the scene safe, clearing the building and the surrounding area to make sure there weren't any other victims or potential suspects. Once that was done, the fire department and ambulance crews came in to take over the life-saving measures. Individual was then transported to a local medical facility where he was unfortunately pronounced deceased at 10:15 p.m. last night. We got initial information from a witness stating they believe the suspect to be a black male wearing a black shirt with gray sweatpants, which was given to the officers. The Fargo Police Department's Criminal Investigation Division is actively investigating this incident. We're working through a lot of information currently to try to sort out exactly what transpired, who was involved, and why this happened. Preliminary information suggests that the victim and the suspect were known to each other. Information also suggests that this incident is likely related to the shots fired incident from this past weekend in the 4800 block of 38th Street South. As I mentioned, officers responding to the scene worked to immediately provide life-saving measures while also securing the crime scene and sweeping the building and surrounding areas to identify any other victims or suspects. Once the area was secure, members from the Criminal Investigations Division were contacted and responded to the scene, to include members from our Adult Violent Crimes Unit, Metro Street Crimes Unit, and our Intel and Analysis Unit. Currently, we're looking at video from the area, following up on several leads, and trying to identify potential witnesses to speak to. But we would also ask the public to let us know if they have any information or video that would help with our investigation. Anyone with information related to this incident is encouraged to contact our department at 701-241-5777. And anonymous tips can be submitted by texting keyword Fargo PD and the tip to 847411. The Fargo Police Department is committed to keeping the public informed of any safety concerns while preserving the integrity of the ongoing investigation. Like I said, this is still a very fresh investigation. I've been getting updates throughout the morning, and additional information is being developed very quickly. To answer some likely questions, I can tell you that no firearm was recovered from the scene. The victim appears to have sustained several gunshot wounds, but we will not be able to confirm his injuries until an autopsy is completed tomorrow, which one of our detectives will also be present for. We did recover some firearm casings from the area near the victim, which will be run through our NIBIN machine to see if they correlate with any weapons or other cases through the ATF NIBIN database. We have identified several individuals who may be involved in this incident, as well as the incident from this weekend. However, I'm not in a position to provide those names at this time. We're still investigating the evidence we have and continue to gather to try and narrow down who may be witnesses, who might be suspects, and then who might not be involved at all. As I mentioned, we're talking to associates of the victim and witnesses to try and assist us in piecing that all together. And as we work through the investigation, if we're able to develop probable cause for an arrest, we'll provide that information to the public as soon as we can. I want to reiterate that this does not appear that this was a random act of violence between strangers, but appears to be related to some type of ongoing feud between the parties involved based on the information we have received at this point. We will continue to work diligently to investigate this case with the goal of identifying and apprehending the shooter in a timely manner. Our detectives will also work to ensure all evidence is collected, reviewed, and a complete and thorough investigation is completed for submission to the Cass County State's Attorney. On a final note, I just wanted to cover that we also dealt with another unfortunate incident last night involving a house fire with a completed suicide in the 400 block of 21st Street South. Officers responded and located a male who had what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound while the fire department extinguished the fire. It is believed the victim is the one that started the fire based on our investigation, and that incident does not have any relation to the homicide from last night. With that, we'd open it up to any questions you guys might have.
Are you able to say how y'all were able to make the connection between the shots fired incident and this case?
Based on the investigation and talking to people that are associated with the victim, basically, at this point.
Was the victim involved in that earlier shooting that you referenced? Are you able to say that?
We believe that he was present for that. His involvement is still being investigated.
Gotcha. We also had were told by a witness at the scene that night that there was a baby shower happening nearby. Was that incident involved at all, or is that just something that was happening?
We're still working through that. I can confirm there was some type of baby shower, gender reveal type thing going on. We're just trying to figure out who all was involved in that and if that was related to the shots fired incident.
Given that this happened in a residential area and near an apartment complex, how do you feel, what's your message to the residents of that area who may feel unsafe right now?
Oh, my message is always make sure that you have good situational awareness of things that are going on around you. We always tell people to be good witnesses for us if they see things that go on, to make sure that they call us right away so that we can investigate that. And like we tell people all the time, if they feel unsafe or there's something going on that makes them feel unsafe, to call us so that we can get over there and help investigate what's going on.
Did the victim live in that apartment complex? Was that his home?
I do not believe he lived there, no.
Okay. Well, last question. What's the timeline for a NIBIN analysis? Like, how long does that typically take for bullet casings to be run through and to find out?
Yeah, so we try to get our casings in within 48 hours of receiving them. And then from there, the timeline is how long it takes to get back kind of depends on what those hit on. So that can vary, but usually it's pretty quick turnaround.
So in cases like where individuals are disputing within feuds, earlier this year during the summer, there was some feud going on between a group of individuals in the downtown area. How do you distinguish of dealing with these kinds of situations where these groups of individuals are going through feuds, and it's been more than like one case where the police have been called because of these feuds happening?
Yeah, well, I can tell you it's difficult for us because historically the people involved don't really want to talk to the police. So it can be very difficult for detectives and officers when they respond to those to try to figure out exactly what happened. Because sometimes in cases like this, which potentially could be the issue here, is they try to work those things out themselves without police involvement, which we obviously would not condone. But it can be difficult for us to find people that are willing to speak to us about what happened, either because they're in fear of what the people involved might do to them if they talk to the police, but also because it's just not something that they want to do and they want to work it out amongst their groups, and that can lead to issues like this.
You mentioned that, this was part of some sort of ongoing dispute, and it sounds like, too, there's potential that multiple people could be involved. I guess I'm curious, is there any sort of public safety risk, especially in terms of, like, could retaliation be a possibility, especially if it involves multiple individuals?
Yeah, I mean, that's always certainly a possibility if there's going to be retaliation. As far as the public safety risk, like I said earlier, this isn't a random act where they just attack some person they didn't know. These people know each other. That doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't a risk to public safety, depending on where they decide to handle these types of incidents, if they're going to use violence. But like I said, that anytime people see something that looks unsafe or seems suspicious, they need to call us right away. And we would certainly encourage anybody involved in this incident to come forward and let us know so that we can try to get in front of that and mitigate those types of issues, because that's all information that we need. However, if somebody was involved, we only have the side of the story based on the the evidence that we've collected and the witnesses. So if people were involved and we need their side of the story, they need to come forward and contact us.